Welcome back to ASL Chennai Speaks Out Season 2. Our topic today is the teaching profession losing its charm, and it's now time for our third segment called Bowl Out.
Right, Mr. Nagabhushanam, you're mentioning that, students, alumni, they don't have respect for teachers. Once they pass out, that's it. But teaching is the only profession where you divide knowledge to multiply it. Unlike in the corporate sector, where you work only to multiply profits, right? So a teacher is a selfless person who actually creates a new generation without any expectations from them. And then the best satisfaction for a teacher is when her student or his student comes up to high positions in the corporate world or in the field of journalism or in politics, everywhere. So why do you say that, it's lost its charm?
Well, you already said, you have given the answers in your introductory speech itself. You gave all exceptions only. Not the genuine teacher who is interacting with the student even after the student passes out of the campus. What he showed as a clipping in the beginning had happened in cinemas earlier, one exception now in real life. So, do you find such things happening anywhere and everywhere as a matter of routine to claim that?
Madam, it is happening as a routine. I'll just, intervene over here, because if you look at the IITs, a lot of these structures, a lot of funding is given by the alumni base. These institutions get heavy endowments from the alumni. I don't think that respect is going anywhere. And every time in a batch that you're teaching, there are so many students who will come back, who will remember you.
Well, I got the answer from you. It is happening in IIT, not anywhere else.
Not at all.
Not at all.
It's happening everywhere, ma'am.
Fine, the children come back to do a lot for the teachers, for the reverends.
In fact, myself, I have, given scholarships in my own school where I was educated.
Because you are in IIT setup, you are doing it, you are...
Ma'am,
I do not know anybody
very recently. I did that long before.
What I ask
There's an open invitation, okay.
What I ask is, the students have enough reverence, respect. How many of them actually want to become teachers?
There are quite a few, Bharti.
There are quite a few.
There are quite a few.
Very few.
Actually, I tell you why this skepticism about education and teaching losing its charm. Because somewhere now
you agree it's losing its charm?
No, but I'm saying it's a skepticism. I'm saying it's a skepticism that you have. Nowadays, the minute you are out, you look at the salaries that others are getting. You compare. Okay?
Because nobility also feels
But
hungry, wants a lifestyle.
Hold on. It does affect. It does affect. Go into the corporate world, there are so many after 2 years, they just feel burnt out, okay? And then they realize this is not they wanted to do. This just a very nice pay package is not enough, okay? Sometimes it's a late realization that teaching is a better career. But then it is not,
it becomes
it's not
an
losing
option.
its charm. It not losing.
Fine, I'm fed up of that.
Charm.
Let me take up teaching. It's still there for me.
No, it is not.
Why not from the beginning, as the enthusiasm for an IT job, for a doctor, for the medicine seats are in demand, engineering seats are in demand, ITs are in demand, teaching jobs are not in demand.
No, that is because, in the classroom.
Not the job, the teaching career as such.
In the classroom, a teacher, when she asks her students, what do you want to become? The teacher is happy when he says, I want to become a pilot, I want to become an aeronautical engineer, I want to become a politician, or I want to become a doctor. But very few teachers actually inculcate the spirit of teaching in the students.
We hardly hear a child saying, I want to become a teacher these days.
Teacher is not teaching what his future is going to be. It is their own choice.
There have been so many teachers who have been
And
role
they are
models.
choosing it from journalism and from TV and whatnot.
In fact, that's a very, very nice point you have said. The teachers never say that you should become this. In fact, the job of a teacher is to give you a lens through which you see the world. They give you a set of tools and techniques to, bring about changes in the same world. They also develop the curiosity in you so that you question the same tools.
That's exactly
you
what
question
worries
your
me,
teacher
Richa.
also. I don't think any profession actually stands up to that level, where they say that question your mentor.
Richa, that's
Teaching
exactly
is
what
one
I'm worried
profession that
about
allows
is,
you
I
to.
am inspiring children to become, various things, doctors, engineers, so many things. Why am I as a teacher not able to inspire my students to become teachers? As I said before, I'm talking on both fronts. Why as an individual am I not able to influence that child to say, ma'am, I want to become a teacher?
In
Why?
fact,
That is because you should take pride in what you're doing. See, the simple thing, you organize career workshops for your students. You invite people from the media, you tell them what journalism is about. You invite people from the science and research field, tell them what research is about. You invite lawyers, you tell them what law is about. Why don't you invite exceptional teachers, talented teachers, and tell them that this is
Even the teaching
teaching?
community as such is not serious about itself.
It is. In
You
fact,
have so
Bharati,
many
if I may
imaginations
say
about
something.
other fields, it is not so. They don't invite people who are knowledgeable to their area to share the views. and motivate and be a role model to the children. That is missing in present day, which we were enjoying as
Ma'am, one
students.
moment. I want to butt in here. We just spoke about the alumni, going back and doing things for the teachers. How many of the alumni will call their teacher to give a talk to their children?
They would invite
Very
for the
rare,
industry things.
very rare.
Is there a platform for that? Yes, that should
Very
be there,
rare.
isn't
It
it?
should be
How
there, but
many
it's
of the
not there.
alumni want to come back and teach?
Hardly.
A lot of them. A lot of them.
IIT talks about it.
See, you
Not
just
just
can't.
IIT, you take Anna University, you take the University of Madras. There are so many people who do research in the field of science, especially if you notice. After a UG, they go for a post-graduation, then they go for an MPhil, and then finally a PhD research, and then they go on to do postdoctoral research and come back to teaching. And this is where their interest lies.
Percentage is very less.
No, I know of some excellent researchers here in Chennai, who
Some.
got
There
some
are.
excellent projects from the Department of Science and Technology, Department of Biotechnology, doing research, refusing to go into the pharma industry, refusing to go into the chemical industry, which would pay them 4 times
As
the
you
salary.
rightly said, some, not everyone.
I think, Bharati,
Well,
that is true for any profession,
No, but
a
the
doctor's,
percentage is
I was,
alarming.
earlier living in a place where there was a doctor's colony all around, and a lot of doctors' children don't want to become
The
doctors.
percentages are very alarming.
They are
Why
quite-
I want to say this point here is, with the very system itself, I do not say a flaw, but there's something missing out. When I talk about other countries, when I make a comparison with the other countries, when I talk to my teacher trainees, asking them to make a comparison about the status of teacher, let me quote 2 countries, it's Japan and London. There the teacher has to complete the 3-year graduate course, she has to have a PG degree, she has to have a 1-year teaching certificate that yes, she is certified by the government to be a teacher in the class, regular reviews and upgradations happening, and he or she is recognized as a government servant. Which youngster would not want to become a teacher under such a case? You will welcome it.
We would love to have that kind of support from the government and the system coming up.
Exactly.
But at the same time, to say that teaching is losing its charm, it's not true, because it's all about individuals. Individuals are motivated differently. There is a large percentage which is interested in the materialistic part. There are a lot who are interested in the intrinsic. So if I love teaching because it gives me a lot of scope to
But
do things,
intrinsic
and what you
is
said,
for
Bharati,
very
earlier,
few.
that teachers do not innovate, they do not develop, I would not agree. I would not agree. You're talking about those people who have joined the teaching profession because they did not have an option.
That's why
we
I
do
didn't
not
say
have
it.
that
I
many
asked.
numbers.
I asked how many
We
of us
do
will
not
do it.
have the numbers. Likewise, a lot of people become into the medical profession. They are a hazard to the society. They chose it because there is, money at the end of it. There is a charm to it, but at what cost?
Cost of life.
Is this somebody looking at it? Is somebody looking at it? I don't think so. But if you generalize, just because there is a set of people who are joining the teaching profession as a last option, you cannot say that teaching has lost its charm.
It is made compulsory military service in European countries. The same way here in India, if teaching could be made compulsory at least for a year.
For a year.
For all the students who finish their course,
Disagree with that.
No,
I
I
think
disagree.
I would strongly disagree with that,
no, at
madam,
least those who
because
opt
No,
for
in a
teaching is
democracy,
not
such kind
about
of
it.
compulsion does not,
I'm not talking about
lead to
everyone.
anything.
We are
In fact,
talking
it
about-
will be a disservice to society because, if you compel somebody to become a teacher, they will not teach.
That would
They
be
will
very
spoil
bad
up
to the
young
health of
minds.
education,
Therefore, that is not a proper
No, we are talking about people who have taken up teaching as a career should serve any educational institutions for a year.
Not necessary. Why should we force it on people? See, let me see it. You're saying that these are exceptions. Abdul Kalam, Uday Kumar, you say there are exceptions. But in every field, in IT, how many prominent people can you point out today? Except Nandan Nilekani or, Infosys, Narayana Murthy or Wipro or Satyam Ramalinga Raju, right? So these are
You
all
want to use
things.
Ramalinga Raju as an example?
No, I'm saying that, this is what, in every industry you have exceptions. In every industry you have aberrations of the kind of Ramalinga Raju.
I think
So
so.
in every, how many prominent journalists can you point out?
I think
How many
we have
prominent
to
lawyers
take
can you
the
point out?
corporation schools as well, not IITs and
Exactly. Primary schools, basic schooling.
yes.
Basic schooling again is
And
changing.
they are proving much better than those convents and other things. So
No,
we
basic
have to
schooling is
take that
changing.
into consideration.
Look at the Chennai Corporation itself, the activity-based learning model. It's become a role model for the entire country. Why?
Very
Because of the
recently.
commitment of the teachers there, because of them.
Suresh, thank you
precisely
for that.
because of
You
them.
said it
When you
because of
say
the commitment of
it's coming up
teachers. Thank you so
recently,
much
that
for
was a
that.
When
charm.
you say
That
it's
was the
coming
charm
up
of teaching.
recently, what you're saying is there were people who were motivated enough to bring back good education. Therefore, teaching hasn't lost its charm.
Unfortunately,
No.
that starts and stops with one head of the institution who has
doesn't,
vision.
madam.
It doesn't
It
continue
doesn't.
afterwards.
No, ma'am,
This
thanks
is
for
the case with every industry. There will be one leader. You take the vice chancellors. You had in Anna University one Professor Bala Gurusamy who showed what the powers of a vice chancellor is to the world. he put the engineering colleges in place. So it all depends on individuals in every field, not necessarily in teaching alone.
Mr.
not
Suresh,
What
necessarily
I'm
in every-
saying, it starts and stops with that individual, it doesn't continue as an institution. That is what is bothering.
But that's the case with every industry.
That's with every
Any
profession.
other
No, but the
sector?
teaching industry is worst affected
I wouldn't agree with that.
because
I
we don't
wouldn't
have
agree with
teachers
that.
today.
Please,
See,
we
that
are
way
teachers.
the country
we had
is
very
short.
few.
No, that way the
I'm
country
talking
is short
about
of
school teachers.
10,000 truck drivers we don't have. There's a shortage of 10,000 truck drivers. You have vacancies, huge vacancies at the officer level in the defense services. In the Navy, in the Army, you have vacancies. You have vacancies in every industry. The automobile industry says it's not able to find people.
The vacancy-
So
We have
that is-
people to
appointed
talk
by
about
you,
that. We
not
have
by
no
us.
people to talk about
But
us.
who's creating the manpower? The teachers. They create the manpower for the industry. Without the teachers, how will the industry need this manpower?
That's exactly when,
Modeling, it is
when-
no more teacher creating, okay?
ma'am, when he says that, the teachers are the role models, or the people creating it, when we don't have the creators itself, where are the future going to be?
The creators are coming.
coming,
The creators
yeah.
are coming.
They've
They're coming. They're
always
not
been
there.
there.
The
With
choice
this,
is
just
less.
imagine, with a critical shortage of 50% faculty capacity in engineering colleges, if you are able to generate the manpower which your IT industry needs year on year, just look what we can do with 100% capacity.
That's because the remaining 50 are still passionate about teaching, are ready to take up the rest 50's burden also.
Yes, but that means there's a charm. There's a charm. Otherwise, why would they take it up?
It is
Because
not
the
a
rest is
charm.
still
They
empty.
earned enough. They want to spend that time more usefully, so they take up this as
No,
an
I'm talking about the
alternative. That's
teachers,
all.
even the
Not out
fresh
of
graduates who
passion.
take up teaching.
If you were
See, we attach too much to qualifications, to the degrees that people acquire. My father was taught by a person who was only educated up to class 8th. Today, he can point out mistakes in every English newspaper, right? So, it's the passion of teaching. It's not necessarily the qualification.
That is
Your qualification alone
education.
doesn't matter.
That is
right?
education which you can get from anywhere. This is just gradation which is given in the school or any other institution. And today's teachers are only graded, not educated. That is the whole problem today.
No,
Alright.
I disagree, because the
Disagree
teachers, if you
completely.
notice, they get a 3-year study leave at the university level. All the assistant professors, 3 years paid study leave. And they get a sabbatical every 7 years.
These are all paper
Right.
tigers not working in.
No,
No,
madam,
there are
these
people
are
who go. You
realities.
go to the University of Madras, you go to any University of Mumbai, people
Even
go
at
to
I
study.
wish
leave.
we
They
could
actually
talk
take
about
that
Just like you
study.
teaching
mentioned
down the
one
line at
example,
school level.
even at the school level, there are training programs
school
happening
level is
for
what
the
we are aiming
teachers
at.
at the national level, various camps, various training
That is what
workshops,
I
etc.
said, they are
held.
all paper tigers.
No,
they don't have
madam,
life.
they are not paper tigers. My mother was a principal, a teacher, and she has participated in these. And there were other teachers participating, so I know they are not paper tigers at all.
It is not working in everybody's case. Those who have
Madam, there are exceptions, we agree. But exception
exceptions
is
are
not
what
the
you are
rule.
pointing out.
No,
Generality
absolutely
is
not.
what we are
But
pointing
the
out.
exceptions are too less.
All right.
Those exceptions might be.
All right, that's reason enough to actually, as Mark Twain said, I never let my schooling interfere with my education, but time now to slip into a short break on SL Chennai Speaks Out. When we come back, that's the final round. It's called Third Umpire, where we go to the audience here who almost been, I think, almost itching to participate in this round itself. Stay tuned.